Hey, what's up guys? It's Browne. Another video, another behind the scenes. Sorry it's a little dark. I 100% waited till the last second to film this, but today is pretty cool because I don't know about you guys, but I for sure always get these post-shoot like highs or endorphin rushes, and that's what I'm feeling right now. And it's always when I pulled something off or learned something new or progressed in a new technique. It just gets me super excited, and this is 100% the reason I do what I do. And I wanted to tell you guys all about this shoot. And also along the way, kind of discuss how I found what, in my opinion, is my true style. The past few years, ever since I started, I've been chasing styles, slightly copying and trying to figure out how people did their styles and seeing if it worked for me. And nothing ever really felt true until pretty recently. And I want to tell you guys about that as well. All right, let's just dive deep into the shoot. It's kind of all over the place. It's 3 weeks in the making, so I'm gonna have to kind of piece everything together. But one night I was just kind of up awake, couldn't sleep, feeling kind of inspired, and I saw that it might be foggy in the morning. So I decided to get my gear, go out to a spot and see if I could catch that early morning fog and try to light it up and pull off a levitation photo. Levitation photos and video is something that I've always played around with, but I really want to kind of develop this style and see if I can create some new concepts with it, some new techniques with it. So I've been having a lot of fun with that. So this morning I wanted to go see if I could pull it off. Man, yesterday was so foggy you could barely see driving on the road. I hoped that it would be like that this morning, but you guys can't see out there, but it is clear. So currently right now, it's about 3 weeks after the footage you just watched, and I am 1 day post pulling this shoot off. So what changed? I researched what creates fog conditions, and I waited for those conditions to show up. I even got up at 5:30 in the morning, back to back to back, and it never came. So I decided, well, I'm just gonna have to do this regardless. And one night I was feeling inspired again, and I got all my stuff together. I drove around the city, and I was just trying to find a spot that would work. What I was looking for is a bright spot. Maybe like a really bright street lamp that would light up the street. I wasn't really sure. I just knew I needed something that would illuminate the scene so that me, the subject, was gonna be dark and hopefully mostly silhouette. And luckily I found that pretty easily, probably literally less than 1 mile from my house. It had everything I needed. It was a big space, it was pretty bright, it even had some puddles on the ground. It didn't have neon signs, but it had fluorescent tube lights in it, and I thought that would look really nice, especially if I used some sort of diffusion filter to bloom those highlights. My goals eventually, probably 2-3 years down the road, is I want to make a photo book on film with this surreal, maybe slightly sci-fi style that I've been playing with. And I want to shoot it on medium format, which is what I have been experimenting with. So I wanted naturally to do this shoot on film just to gain some experience. Maybe some of these pictures would make the book, I'm not sure. But the problem that I ran into on this shoot is that I was going to be the subject, my favorite problem in the world, and that means I needed a self-timer, and also I wasn't too stable on this stool. I was kind of moving around. I knew I needed that digital raw file because I was probably going to have to push it in post quite a bit. I had to settle for the Fuji X-T4. I know, not really a settle. This camera is great, super capable. The files are always super clean, super sharp, so I went with this guy. So if you're into my work or watch my channel, I'm gonna guess that you're pretty into this cinematic look as well that I try to chase after. And something that you might not know, because I know it took me a while to kind of wrap my brain around this, is the styling of your subject. Not just the light, not just the camera settings, not just the setting of the environment, but the styling, the makeup, the hair, the clothes, the shoes, accessories, that plays just as big of a role in your final product as everything else. So let me just run through real quick what I chose for this shoot and why I chose this. So for shoes, I knew I wanted something black, so I just chose black Converse. I knew I wanted to aid in that silhouette of my figure from my feet up, leading into black jeans, so you can't see it, but I'm wearing black jeans, wore black jeans on the shoot. And then second was my top, what I was wearing. So I knew I wanted some movement in this shot, or to simulate movement, because I was gonna be levitating. I wanted it to look like I'm rising up from the ground. So I chose a super flowy flannel, not this one. I actually chose a red flannel. I was gonna go black, but I was worried that if I didn't find a bright enough spot out there, that if I wore like a black flannel, I would just completely blend into the background, and I wanted to protect myself against that. Something that I always try to add to my work, I'm sure you guys have seen it through the space helmets or Travis in his pink full suit in the river, is I try to add a surreal element to the video or photo. So this kind of means to me something, a hint of like sci-fi or fantasy, not quite, but still grounded in realism and real world. But if you think about it, it doesn't quite make sense, but it definitely makes the final product a lot more interesting. So for this one, I wanted to just kind of wear a motocross helmet just to add to the story. Like maybe this guy in the picture was riding his bike, he saw something on the road, pulled over, and now you get to think about why he's rising up from the ground. So I actually have a number of motorcycle helmets. I have my personal one that I ride, but that one was kind of like an off-white bubble shield. It didn't really match the vibe that I was going after. And so this one is the one I chose. It's slightly retro. It plays into this like Midwest kind of like 1990s theme and an era that I'm always trying to like chase after. And it was white. I knew I wanted my figure to be really dark, but I knew I also wanted like a hint of pop in the photo, because the photo was gonna be so dark. Now, guys and girls, when I say this was one of my hardest shoots, you gotta realize that I've had a lot of hard shoots in the past. I'm 100% a one-man band. I gotta do all the back-breaking work, all the heavy lifting, all the sucky parts of a production. And this one, this levitation photo, was probably one of the most physically demanding shoots that I've ever had to do. I got up at 3 a.m. I did not get my final photo, the one photo I was after, until 5:30 a.m. So this means self-timer mode, run, get on the stool, that was wobbly, listen for that beep, try to get in position, which took like a solid hour to figure out how I wanted my body. And the whole time I'm just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I think I found the angle. Finally, it's taken me like an hour of this. And so yeah, I eventually got the photo. Actually about 30 minutes before I got the final photo, a cop rolled up on me. I knew it was gonna happen. This spot that I was set up was right on this main street. Cars were going up and down, seeing me have all my equipment out, and I was just waiting for that moment that a cop rolled up on me. Luckily, my landlord is the chief of police in town, so I just, I name dropped a little bit and said I was in the area and explained what I did, and he was totally cool with it, and he went on and wished me luck, and I eventually got the photo. And so let me just close this video out with kind of explaining really simply how I found my creative and visual style, because I'm sure you guys have noticed in the past years, I honestly have been all over the place. I've been kind of doing the whole landscape thing. I've been doing the portrait thing. I've been doing the cinematic thing. And recently I just kind of did an inventory of my work and my headspace, my creative drive. And I decided that this is just what I've always been drawn to, this sci-fi element, this surreal element, the levitation, the colored lighting, the cinematic, dramatic lighting. That's what I'm drawn to. That's what I watch in my personal time, which I think is the key. This is what I watch. I don't watch Nat Geo. I don't have a strong drive to do like really bright, high-key lighting. That's not what I'm into. So that's how I found my style. Oh, and I also want to point out, I actually booked a lesson with one of my personal favorite creators. I'll link him right here. His name is Josh Tepp. He's kind of a surreal photographer as well. And that was super helpful. So maybe that's something that you want to do in the future to help develop your style, is find someone who you really admire, who is in the space that you want to be in, and just ask them if they'll book like a 1-hour Zoom call with you and kind of talk about their process and what inspires them and how they go about actually creating their work. And I don't know, for me, it was a really game changer. It was really helpful. I'm currently, after that lesson, I feel like I'm making my best work. So, all right, anyways, it's getting dark in here. Hope it doesn't look too bad. Thank you guys for always rocking with me throughout the years. It's Cam Browne. Like and subscribe, do all that stuff. See ya.